Hey everybody, you're watching this video because you received your MetFlex Phase 1 Starter Kit. Let's go through the checklist. You have watched the onboarding video and you went to the grocery store to buy the foods that you're going to eat this week. And more importantly, you have made a commitment to finish the whole 18-week program. Now, the reason I named the program MetFlex 18 Protocol is because the main goal is for you to become metabolically flexible, and that takes 18 weeks. I know your goal may just be to lose some weight, or you don't want to be a type 2 diabetic. The great news is when you're metabolically flexible, you fix all those issues too. You have already been on too many diets in your lifetime. Now, if you don't become metabolically flexible, you're just gonna yo-yo back to your previous issues, and that's the last thing we want. That's what makes my protocol different from all the rest that you've ever had. Let's do it right this time and kick all those issues in your past, never to return. Losing weight and lowering your blood pressure and cholesterol levels are all just results of a metabolic flexibility. Dumping the lifestyle of type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance, hyperinsulinemia, and glucose intolerance are all medals that you will earn on your way to the ultimate throne of being the master of your health. The great news is that metabolic flexibility is more encompassing than that. Even though that list is a compelling reason to become metabolically flexible, there are even more compelling reasons to be metabolically flexible. We don't want to be sick and have all those health issues. It also includes your mind and spirit. You will look and feel younger. I get told all the time that I don't look or act like I'm 61 years old. Being metabolically flexible also affects your microbiome, which refers to the good bacteria in and on your body. The discovery and important impact of gut bacteria are just beginning to reveal themselves. In fact, science has learned more in the last 5 years of the importance of gut bacteria, called microbiome, than in the previous 200 years. Some are calling the bacteria in our gut our first brain. The one that sits on top of our shoulders is secondary. It affects nearly everything about us, including cognitive functions. The number one health fear of people is losing their minds and memory. Studies are showing that years of a high-carb diet is the main cause of dementia and Alzheimer's disease. In fact, many leading experts feel like they finally have a protocol to treat mental health issues. They go as far to proclaim that all mental health issues, including depression, anxiety, PTSD, even Alzheimer's, all of them are caused by mitochondrial damage. And they're finding that diet protocols such as the MetFlex 18 eating plan is the only treatment they have found to be successful for nearly everyone. Now, I'm not going to pretend that low insulin and low carb diets will cure all your health issues, but it is difficult to ignore all the research that is proving its many benefits. Now, 100 years ago, we didn't have the issues of Alzheimer's and other mental disorders like we do today. And you just have to ask, what has happened? What has changed in just a few decades? And science is answering with, it's the change in our diet. There is no other plausible explanation. Western medicine hasn't always been focused on medications and surgeries. Just in the time that I've been in the industry, I have seen a circling back to the notion that food is the cause and cure of what ails us. There are two sides of the coin of metabolic flexibility. Heads is anabolism, the building and storing. I like to call it the metabolic flexibility of tomorrow. How well you follow the rules of metabolic flexibility will predict how healthy you will be in the future. Your body is taking the food that you're eating now and building new healthy cells because they were born in a healthy body environment. Because our cells are always dying and new ones are always being born, this is an important point to remember. And the tails of that coin is catabolism. This is the breaking down of cells and tissue to clean things up and to give us energy. The function of a weight loss diet is cannibalism, basically getting energy and nutrients from the storage of fat in your body. You can refer to this as your metabolic flexibility quality of yesterday, measured in months and years. If you've been storing nutrients, gaining weight, or even just maintaining your weight, and you have a few pounds to lose, Your cells have forgotten how to follow cannibalism, and your ability to lose weight is not very effective. You probably have noticed that. The MetFlex will put you into a state where your cells will be forced to relearn all that over again. That's why our protocol focuses on metabolic flexibility and not just low carb or keto. The reason I put 18 in the MetFlex is because hysteresis. What in the world does that mean? In hysteresis, there's a lag between input and output. The thermostat in your home is a good example. You set your thermostat to 75 degrees, but your furnace doesn't turn off and on until it gets down to 72. That way, your furnace isn't off and on every couple of minutes. Hysteresis works the same way in our bodies. Over time, 50 grams of carbs. At first, your glucose increase was minor. Over time, months and years, that same 50-gram dose can result in a jump of 200, 300, even 400% increase. It's like caffeine in the inverse. The first time you took it, you really felt it. Now you need 4 or 5 times as much caffeine to get the same buzz. To fix all the issues that we have been talking about, we need to reset your pancreas and your liver, the thermostats of weight loss, because those two organ glands follow the rules of hysteresis, and clinical studies tell us that the pancreas and liver need 12 weeks of rest from the high levels of insulin that they've been swimming in. New cells are being born in an ocean of insulin, so they're insulin resistant from the start. That's why phase 1 lasts 12 weeks. Your cells have been doing the long stroke for years, and they need 12 weeks to forget and reset back to your factory settings. And then we need to gradually add carbs back into your diet over the following 6 weeks so that the hysteresis doesn't make the pancreas pump out too much insulin when you start eating, say, 50 or 100 grams of carbs again. You see, I have planned for you to eat carbs in the future, but we've got to fix the dysfunction first. In case you're wondering, that's why you have yo-yoed on all the other diets before. You didn't go long enough, and if you did, you jumped right back into the deep end of the carb pool with too many carbs, too fast, which meant too much insulin, too soon. Now, I'm not going to lie and tell you that you can maintain your lower weight if you go back to eating 300, 400, 500 grams of carbs every day. That part, well, you just need to change. But you can eat a couple of 100 grams of carbs if you are following a day of intermittent fasting, and some exercise would go a long way to let you have your cake and eat it too. But you should be able to handle the carbs in your diet again. In fact, I'll go as far to say to be metabolically flexible, you must eat some carbs to get your insulin and blood sugar levels up. But then you must focus on bringing them right back down again. And you just rinse and repeat that formula for the rest of your life. But that is after the 18 weeks. We must fix the metabolic damage first. And a perfect way to fix it is with the Smart Shake. For your first week, make sure you're following the phase 1 week 1 sheet. It says right up here in the corner, phase 1 week 1. Then use the other phase 1 sheet for the remaining 11 weeks. Let's get into making your first shake. Take your shaker bottle, fill it up with about 8 ounces of water. Then put in 2 scoops of the powder, add 2 pumps of the oil. Now you're going to take the top off, put the spout in, but when you shake it, put your finger on the end of it, of the neck. There's oil in there, and when you shake it, that'll get all over the place, and I don't want that. Then take your steel ball, put it inside, and then when you close the lid, make sure you hear the snap. If you don't, well, that liquid will get all over. We don't want that either. I don't want you sending me a cleaning bill. You might laugh, but I can't tell you after 15 years how many times I'm on the phone, I'm too busy, I forget to hear the snap and I get it all over my clothes in the kitchen or wherever I'm at. Then you can add some ice if you want. It's great to heat it up in the winter, but just heat up the water, don't heat up the oil and the powder, okay? If you want to add some almond milk, that's fine. Just make sure it's unsweetened. Follow your sheet here and over there. It just makes sure that you're using the right kind of milks, no cow's milk. There's too many sugars in it, and it's all unsweetened. But don't ever use soy milk. It is not good for men, and it's not good for women, so don't take it. It messes with your estrogen. Now that's if you just have the shaker bottle. You can do all that and put it in the blender. Again, the same advice. Only put about that much water in your blender. It mixes a lot better if there's not as much fluid. Put the ice in there at the same time, chop it up really well. After it's mixed, then add the rest of your water or any of the milks if you want to have a little more flavor. All right, following the chart, you'll see here, have your first shake within 45 minutes of waking up. That will help keep your cholesterol levels low because whenever you fast, cholesterol levels are rising. We will use intermittent fasting in some of the other phase, but just not right now. I put a natural plant extract in the formula that will lower your cholesterol levels by about 30%. So that'll help you keep your stress and inflammation levels down. Personally, I don't like to pre-mix my shakes throughout the day and let them sit because I've noticed that it changes the taste. The reason for that is because all the super healthy ingredients that I put in there, I mean, there's over 80 of them in there. If you let them dissolve, well, you're going to taste vitamins and minerals and all the other stuff, and they don't taste so good. So mix it and then drink it. And with a formula of over 80 ingredients, it does make it the most nutrient-dense meal replacement shake on the market. If you add up all the nutrients, gram for gram, you would have to eat, get this, 32 pounds of vegetables, fruits, meat, dairy, superfoods, enzymes, pre and probiotics to match what you get in just one Smart Shake. Not to mention the cost of those groceries to replace one Smart Shake would cost you over $120. Just add up how much you're saving while you're getting your health back. While you're drinking the Smart Shake, I recommend that you take your first hydrate capsule. Sodium is the only mineral that I don't put in the Smart Shake because of the taste. But you still need to take it, especially when you go into ketosis. Personally, I take about 6 to 8 of those capsules a day, depending on the season, whether it's warm or cool, and my activity level at the gym. I'll do a video on the importance of sodium in your diet, and you might want to check it out. Like red meat, it has been demonized as the cause of health issues, like high blood pressure, but it simply isn't the facts. I'd start out with 2 or 3 capsules a day and salt your food liberally. If you don't do this, you'll get what is called the keto flu, which is headache, dizziness, weakness, making it harder to concentrate. So watch for that. The reason this happens is around day 3 or 4 of your first week, your insulin levels start to drop. And another hormone called glucagon takes over from insulin. It's a whole different kind of ruler. It commands your kidneys to dump the sodium and all the retaining water that you've built up. That is the reason you need to take the hydrate capsules. In about 4 to 5 hours, it'll be lunchtime. Do the same thing you did for breakfast. For lunch, you can have 1 to 2 cups of veggies. Just look down here, you'll see what is approved on the list. If you want to have something to chew or a different flavor. Nutritionally, you don't need to have any fruits or vegetables because, well, you guessed it, I put it all right in here. But I understand that sometimes you need to chew and enjoy some different flavors. Just follow the low glycemic list of vegetables on your sheet, and there's a great variety there. And then for dinner time, you can have 7 ounces of fish or poultry and 5 ounces of red meat. The list is right here of all the different meats that you can have. Season and cook it any way that you want. Just make sure that there aren't any sugars or maltodextrin in the seasoning. That's a popular ingredient. You can use any of the fats on the sheet while cooking and more vegetables if you like. Then between dinner and bedtime, drink your last Smart Shake. If you want to make it hot, like I mentioned earlier, that is tasty, but only heat up the water and then add it to the powder and the fat. Don't boil or microwave it already blended together. It's like a hot cup of cocoa. It's great in the winter. If you're a smaller frame person and you feel like stuffing yourself with the 4th meal, which would be the 3rd shake of the day, skip the 3rd Smart Shake and add 1 scoop of powder and 1 pump of fat to both your breakfast and to your lunch meal. This will ensure that you're getting the nutrients that you need to keep you going. Check out the video link below that explains all the things that will raise your blood sugar levels that don't have anything to do with eating or drinking. Getting too little sleep, for example, is one of them. To get rid of insulin resistance, you'll need to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. And sleep experts have confirmed that you can't make up for lost sleep over the weekend. So go to bed and get your 8 hours. If it's more convenient to move the meal that you're making to your breakfast or lunchtime, that's perfectly fine. If you look here, you'll see that there's a reminder to drink your water right here in blue. Take your weight, divide it in half, and that's how many ounces of water you should be drinking. Make sure that you're staying hydrated. Most Americans are chronically dehydrated. Look it up. The symptoms are not fun. How much should we drink? Half of your body weight in ounces. If you weigh 200 pounds, divide it in half, that's 100 ounces. Drink that many every day. By the way, the water in the Smart Shakes does not count towards that number. If you're over 300 pounds in weight, tap out 128 ounces, that's a gallon, of water a day. But don't forget your sodium. The more water you drink, the more it dilutes the sodium levels in your bloodstream. And that is all there is to it. Every day you'll get an email or a text to help you through your first week. It's a good idea to read what will be happening in your body for the first week. You'll find it in your packet, and you can go to our website and look it under resources if you need to review it. It's called the MetFlex Week 1 Top 5. Just remember that this is the same protocol that I used to get rid of all my metabolic syndrome issues 15 years ago, and I had all of them. Have faith that the science is solid and has been proven tens of thousands of times to be the answer for people exactly in your situation. Remember, even if you only have 15 or 20 pounds to lose, that won't take very long for you to lose that. If you don't repair the metabolic damage to your pancreas and liver, you will absolutely just yo-yo back to where you were. It takes 18 weeks, not just for our protocol, for your body to go back and reset itself. And because of all that hard work, that's one of the reasons that I want to reward you with first 25% off during phase 1 to phase 3. And then once you're done, you've done all 18 weeks, I'll give you an additional 5% for a total of 30% off all those smart foods for the rest of your life, as long as you're on phase 4 of the protocol, because you'll deserve it. That's a lot of work. And I'll see you on the other side.